Welcome to the Unbreakable Podcast, where we break barriers and build thriving real estate careers. Hi, I'm Racynta Abdullah, a real estate expert, author, growth coach, and your guide to resiliency in real estate confidence and success. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, you're not alone. Here we share real strategies and inspiring stories to help you take bold action and unlock your full potential. Join the Home Chaser Network where ambition agents like you get the support, tools, and connections to thrive. It's time to rise, thrive, and claim success you deserve. Let's go. Hi, welcome to the Unbreakable Ambition podcast. And today we have our guest, Darcy Elman from San Francisco, the Bay Area. Darcy, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you specialize in as a real estate agent?
Sure. So my name's Darcy Elman, and thank you so much for having me, Racynta. I am a real estate agent. I am a life coach, and I specialize in helping people elevate their lifestyle. And what that means for me is that I help buyers and sellers transition to their next phase of life through the sale or the purchase of a home. I got into real estate about 10 years ago because I was a single mom, as some of you out there may be able to relate to. And one day, when I was running around and going to soccer practice and making dinner and working a full-time job, I just collapsed and said to myself, how can I make money work for me as opposed to me work for money? Real estate wasn't exactly the solution, but I just decided on a whim because that's who I am sometimes. I just pivot to try something new. And lo and behold, after studying for real estate, I did get my license. And what I decided from the onset was that I was going to help people live their best life in the home that they love. And if I could help them invest in real estate, even better. And that began to bridge my original goal of having money work for them as opposed to them people working for every dollar. So I am an investment realtor. I'm a green realtor. I love health and wellness. I became a certified green realtor. And I just really love people and I love people living their best life.
I love it. I love it. I truly love it. And before I pressed record, Dorsey, I complimented her on I could even sense the wellness in the background, the serenity at her place. And I said, look, I didn't know you was a wellness slash relationship realtor coach, which I'm a coach also. I'm a relationship realtor. So we share the same things. And I've been a single mom. I was actually a teen mom, but my kids are grown now. So I'm here and this is my new baby. I'm happy to have you a guest here. So let me ask you, so how did you pivot or navigate from what did you have a full-time job or
Well, I've always worked for myself. I was a healer. I was for lack of a better word, a physiotherapist. I help people get out of pain, improve their posture through Pilates, through osteopathy, through Alexander technique and craniosacral therapy. I owned a large wellness studio down in Palo Alto, but I felt in my deeper heart that I didn't want to, I was in a new relationship with the man and I didn't want to rely on him for money. And I was a sole provider to my son, who, as everyone knows out there, our kids are our main priority. And going into real estate was that moment where I would love, instead of having a side hustle, maybe I can do real estate, make money, and then invest and see if my side hustle might be a landlady. And that's what my life has become. My side hustle is a little bit of my investment properties and My real passion is in really supporting clients through a transition, which for most people, buying and selling a house is somewhat stressful, but it doesn't have to be. If you've got a trusted advisor as your realtor, it can really be a beautiful thing. You just, okay, one step and then the next, and you just take each moment as it comes.
I love it. I really love it. Your passion speaks of value, just adding value and taking a day at a time, and more so, just also you're bridging the gap with wellness and transitioning into a new home or selling a home. And you really like with the health thing, I love it because I'm like a health fanatic with holistic herbs. I love all of the above. And I
Yeah.
think it brings peace to your spirit in order to be able to go out and serve others and help others and add value to them.
Yeah, I think one thing that this podcast, my sense was, is that a lot of realtors might jump into this podcast to understand what it takes and change from chasing to
Oh my
attracting.
God.
And
I
that is
love it.
really, that is the theme of
That's
my
the
talk
key.
today.
That is like when I first started real estate in 2017, 18, 17. I just wanted to connect. I wanted to connect and feel, how could I say, I would know where God was guiding me and who I need to serve. So when I started for a year, I still sold. I sold to really investors to get my feet wet because I was a used car dealer for 18 years, so I knew people. But I wind up being a first time home buyer specialist
Mm.
because the gap was with really a lot of people didn't know how to buy, and they
Yes.
was afraid to say,
Mhm.
look, I don't know how to buy. I met a nurse, and it was one of my first big sales. She had moved here from Arkansas, and 2 years she'd been rented in Arkansas, and she was like in her mid 40s. But don't she just didn't know how to buy,
Yeah.
purchase
Or
a
if they, or
home,
even
and
if someone could buy, even if they have money, they don't even know if they, it's like almost out of people's reach because they've never learned how to just trade. It really is a trade. It's called trade because we're really in a commodity and an asset, just like you would buy stocks. When you buy a house, it really is a trade. You're taking your rental income that you're throwing away and paying someone else's mortgage to getting a loan and paying your own mortgage and investing in yourself. But I want to circle back, if it's okay with you, to talk about something that's really dear to my heart, and that is this way that we live our lives and how we embody our mind, body, and spirit in our everyday life, but especially in the one of the hardest careers as being a realtor. And I
and
don't,
my therapist, by the way.
and you're a therapist. You're not only a therapist, you're an accountant, you're a fiduciary, you're a lawyer, and you're a realtor, all in one.
All in one, and you got to know how to communicate and hold your emotions in and think rational. And it's very important for all real estate agents. To me, I'm just one of those. I get up early and start with me first. So the first 4 hours of the day, I might get up at 4 or 5. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna do those things to pour into me first before I can even start with someone else. Now, with
Yes,
that being said, that's very important being a real estate agent. And
yes.
just like you said, with the wellness of it, because really they depend on us to make one of the biggest investments of their life of spending the most money.
Yeah, it wasn't, I went from that kind of what you just said, that kind of like calm life of working on me and my ability to self-regulate and to heal my own trauma and wounds. And I jumped into real estate thinking, I got this. I've done all this work on myself, and it was the most challenging thing because just what you're saying is that people, when they're about to part with hard-earned money that they have saved or inherited, or been gifted or had a windfall or their stock options, whatever it is, it's what they have and it's their security. And when
Mhm.
you start asking someone to take a leap of faith and to give up some deep sense security in their psyche, which is their money in the bank, and trust that they're going to buy a house and they're not going to sink when they buy this house. And the thing that's standing between that intensity of, oh my God, is this a risk? I'm a bit afraid. I'm losing my security blanket. And the hope and dream of home ownership is the realtor. And
Mhm.
to stand in the pillar of support, especially new homeowners or anyone really, but my people who are pretty wealthy and owned and sold a lot of homes, this isn't exactly the case because they know they've already been around the block
Mhm.
around this. But I'm going to just talk about realtors for a moment. For the first 10, I'd say the first 8 years of my career, I was just on this. I am there. I am everything. You need me. I am there. And it took me a
Mhm.
long time to reel it in and say, hey, wait, Darcy, you need sleep. You need to go to the gym. You can't
Yeah,
be
you're
doing
right.
real estate
You're right. Yeah.
24/7.
You
These
have to
goals,
turn it off. Yeah,
you got
I
to turn
gained
it off.
60 pounds when
It can
I,
swallow you whole. Real estate can
yeah.
swallow you whole. And the fact is that everyone listening on this, if you're a realtor, we're all in this together. And I think the message I want to put out today is in this wellness state of mind, inside this loving space of going to the gym, doing a meditation, having a mentor or having colleagues that really lift you up, it's still the real estate community breeds go it alone.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, this starting this year, I got really sick and not terminally ill, but I got sick in real estate. I worked so hard that I had adrenal burnout. And when I was sitting there going, I
Oh,
don't
I
have
did
any
that
energy.
last year. I tried to
Yep,
stop you, but I
it's
did it last year. I took
it's
like
hard.
2, 3 months off. Not saying I didn't work. I just had 1 month where I did not close anything because I had some deals fall out.
Yeah,
But I took a breather. But that led me to being creative. And I actually created a real estate course. But go ahead. But
yeah.
what
But
I'm saying,
we have to have each other. That's
yeah,
what I came out of it with is I'm not going it alone anymore.
yeah,
It's not that I started a team. I didn't because I love my people and I honestly love making sure everyone's taken care of. But what I did was I reached out to other realtors and I said, hey, I want to have lunch. Hey, I could really use to lean on someone right now. I'm really having a hard time. My client just decided not to sell. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I've done a ton of work for her. Or this buyer, we lost out on a deal. Or we won the deal and now that clients are freaking out because we went over so high. So all of
yeah.
these things that the realtor has to hold the space for, sometimes you just need your community.
Yeah, you need the community. And believe it or not, I'm building one right now. I'm starting a Facebook ad. It's going to be on School Network. I mean, it's going to be on school. It's going to be called Home Chaser Network. Cuz my name is Home Chaser. I was chasing homes trying to get people to really dealing with first-time home buyers for them to purchase homes. So I call myself Home Chaser. But I want to build a community for real estate agents of diversity to just lean in and say it's okay. It's okay to even know that it's not okay. How could I say?
Yeah.
Did that make sense what I just said?
Yeah.
It's
Because
okay to know that it's not okay
it's not
because
okay.
a
And
lot of
sometimes
people,
it isn't.
yeah, we put this image on and we want, and that's why I love coaching and training. I'm a John Maxwell certified coach, but I'm also with Legacy. I can't talk. Legacy Group International with a part of EXP. I left Remax. I was with Remax for 7 years and I left Remax. But I started my own brokerage locally here. But my whole thing has been is taking me 6 months to just get the office where it need to be at.
Yeah.
But really, I want to serve agents. I
Yeah.
have this need that I really want to get out and serve agents and teach them because guess what? Nobody taught me and nobody's teaching agents on how to just build. And what you just mentioned, if you come in here with a build, wellness, I'm going to serve mentality, add value.
with the baby steps, you will have business just like me or you or anybody else that's nonstop because you added value and you made that person feel special instead of just running towards the cash.
Let's
The
let's talk
cash.
about making person feel let's okay, this is a good place to talk to just jump in here together. Let's talk about making your client feel like this isn't a transaction, it's a transition and you're walking it together. I think that is
I love that.
exactly what you're saying. And no one ever uses those words, but I would love to hear and go back and forth a little bit about our mistakes that we made when our client didn't feel special. What happened? I would love to hear
Yeah.
that from you, and I'd love to share my stories.
And I can tell you this, and I always tell even new agents when I started my own brokerage, yeah, you could be virtual with EXP or Legacy Group International. But the thing about it, I chose to get an office. The reason why I chose to get an office and be a branch broker, which I'm the qualifying broker of Montgomery, is because I add value. Everyone who wants to buy a house, consultation, I sit them down first. I go over with them, make them feel special, knowledgeable. Even when I first started selling, I went on Pinterest and created the same thing in order to present. Now, let me say this with ratios and numbers. If I have a worker that works 12 hours a day and they say, no, I can't come into the office, and they'll sign all the paperwork on DocuSign and we'll meet at whatever house they want to meet at. 8 out of 10, we never close.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
8 out of 10, we never close. And I stopped meeting them out. I said, no, you got to come to the office. We got to do this. Even if it means 15 minutes of your time, that 15 minutes of their time, it will actually give me assessment because I do this assessment. I do different things to pull character, right? That first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I'm going to know how to move forward with this client. If I meet you at this house just to see this home, just because you got qualified, it's not the same value.
It
And it's
is
more
not.
questions and it's a lot of times they walk away. Like I said, 8 out of 10. So I track myself a lot and journal myself. So I stopped meeting people. If they can't come into the office, oh, just give me 5 or 10 minutes of your time. I'm going to make you feel special. I want to understand it because I can't serve you if you don't come and sit with me so that I can serve
Yeah, then what you're really saying is if you can't commit, if you don't really you can't get yourself to my office
you.
to
Mhm.
meet me and sit calmly,
Yeah,
there's no commitment that you're really buying.
yeah.
And I was on Brokers Open last week, and for all of the realtors out there listening to this, I just want to say two things about this conversation. One is that if you've been at real estate a long time and you're a little burned out because you're working on weekends and you've got your open houses, I think both of us would agree we get you. We feel you. And I understand that Brokers Open can be like, you may just go, I just don't have the energy for it because you'd already been going on Brokers Open for years and now you just don't have the energy. But I'm here, if you're listening to this, I'm here to say Brokers Open is where you feel part of your community and you learn a lot. And what you just said, Racynta, I want to say what happened to me on Brokers Open last week is I met this woman. I actually didn't know her, and she rattled off how much she had been selling. And I was like, wow, okay, because my business is, I've worked really hard for my business to be my business, but I've never sold what this lady was selling. Oh, and I did 85 deals in this one year. And I was like, whoa, girl. But then she got sick. So I had never met her because she was out, and this was like her first bit listing after all the years of selling a ton of real estate. She was slowly coming back into it. But we had this conversation exactly about what we're talking about, and she asked me a few interesting questions, which I was a little bit like they were confrontational, but I knew they were really important. I felt the power in them.
Mhm.
And what do you do when someone calls you? And I was like, I tried to meet with them. And she told me, said exactly the same thing as you just said. I tell them, yeah, sure, I would love to meet with you because I want to make sure you're a fit. number
Yeah,
one.
that's what you're doing.
And
Yeah.
if you can't come into my office, I don't, this is how I work, and you've called me. And if you don't have the time to come into my office, that is not a problem. I'm sure you'll find another realtor. And she said 9 times out of 10 people are shocked. What do you mean? Like they think
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
going to run you
Yeah.
over. And she
I
goes,
always said if we're a fit, if we got to see if this thing gonna work out. Because,
yeah,
my vision is not your vision. I'm here to help you map your vision out, but I need to know if your vision is even workable. Because you might
yeah,
want more home money or more vice versa.
yeah,
So if you go into it looking like that, you're always going to be able to win and have that client trust you.
yeah.
I just sold one this week with a couple from South America. Very nice couple. They moved here, built credit up, but they was hard to trust. They didn't want to really trust me with what I was saying. And they came to an open house. So with signing the
Yeah.
paperwork and all of that and putting the offer because I was buyer and seller agent, but I had to let them know, no, this is what we're going to have to do. We have to do it this way. And he said, oh, Racynta, I know where your office is. I even seen your reviews online. You got good reviews. It's okay. I know we have to sign the paperwork. And he said, but I'm not paying your commission. Yeah.
Okay.
It was funny because with the thing,
Yeah, the whole NAR litigation. Yeah.
yeah, he was a buyer. So I was selling the home. And I said, why would you say that? And he said, because a lot of my friends said they're making you pay in their community. They're saying that they have to pay. And I
The
said, see,
seller's still
this is
paying.
why you
Yeah.
trust me.
Yeah.
The seller is still paying. We just make sure we notate any changes. The seller is still paying. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh gosh, the thing, yeah, you're right. If agents, like I'm in the process right now, it'll be 5 days. I have the tech guy working on my algorithm within the social media world to build, like I said, home chaser network in order to empower and to
Mhm.
add value to real estate agents. Because really, a lot of them get into it thinking, oh, you're just going to make all this money real quick.
Ah,
More than
God,
that.
no.
Yeah.
It's so much to every deal, as
And every
everyone who's
deal,
listening, every deal is a journey from start to
it is.
finish.
It
And
is.
it
And you
is,
never know.
and
You
you
never
never
know.
know. And that's the reason why I'm backing up here again and saying that your colleagues are going to give it to you straight. Your broker, like I went into my broker today with a new strategy and I was like, I want to run this new strategy by you. And he like he didn't shoot me down, but he was like, you want to go and join a team and just be a buyer's agent. I said, I want to break. Like, I don't want to run. I don't want to be out every night networking because this is how I've gotten all my business. I'm in a lot of groups and I'm out networking. And I walked away going, I thought that was a good plan. And he was like, and so I just wanted to say that even if you talk to your broker and they don't think it's a great plan because they know you can do more than what you're saying you want to do, you have to ask yourself, what is right for me now?
Right.
Because at 10 years, I
Uh-huh.
really do feel like I feel like, hey, wait a minute, I think I might want to go back and teach Pilates a little. Just,
That's me. Like I've been doing real estate for only 7, 8 years, maybe 2017. I don't know, about 8, 9 years. Yeah, maybe 8 years. No, it's not even 8. I started in 2016, December. I got licensed, so 17 into now. But when I got in, the guy was selling me real estate investment properties. He told me, he said, look, Racynta, you only got 5 or 6 years before you get burned out. And I was like, no, I love helping people. I love. And true enough, last year was around 7 years. I'm like, oh gosh, I just really, and it might have helped me. I know it did help me a lot when I left Remax and started my own brokerage. But I loved it because then I was able to start something new and I wanted to do more workshop settings. I have all these things planned out, using my John Maxwell literature. I have everything planned out. And then got an investor and he gave me creativity over 8 projects. So
nice.
I really reset myself in the real
Yeah.
estate sector. And I'm like, maybe I just need to go and deal with more investors and me be more creative, because it gave me a new insight on business. And I'm like, wow, I have rental properties, but it just basically gave me a whole nother level of knowing how much material costs, how to measure up the money aspect, contractor aspect, everything. So yeah, I just really think everybody need to find their own niche from within. And that's where the power lies in real estate, because I might be an agent to be online all day, but the next agent might don't like being online. They might need to
Yeah.
start a newsletter or a blog and share
Absolutely.
knowledge.
Yeah.
There's other opportunities versus just social media. You just got to start. And that's what I always tell people.
Yeah.
Start with the smallest thing, giving out cards and starting one more thing, and which is a
Yeah.
blog
And
or newsletter.
yeah. Yeah. One thing I hear in your voice is joy with the starting of this new thing. And that's the thing that I think is so hard to keep going when you've already have your systems and your systems aren't giving you joy anymore.
Yeah, they're
Like
not
you
giving
need
you
to,
joy. Because who just want to sell, right?
yeah,
I want to add
exactly.
value. Yeah, I just
Yes.
and I had a real estate school that I called, and she said, Racynta, we stopped letting agents come over here because they talk mostly about themselves. She said, but I'm gonna let you come over here and talk to my post class. She said,
No.
because the only thing you talked about was adding value to others. You're not worried about
Yeah.
how many you sold or what you no, because
No.
I don't want you to look at what I've done. I want to show you what you can do, and the power
Yeah.
lies from within, and
Absolutely.
it's what you could do at your terms. And you can make a lot with real estate if you
You
just
can.
start the small way and just
You
build up.
can, and I think the thing that I feel I wish someone had told me because in getting on this call, I really was feeling like this is focused to realtors. And I think the one thing I wish someone told me way back when I started was everything that you do, even though you and I come from this place of heart and helping people, the truth of the matter is every effort is an investment.
It is.
And you have to look at your time as an investment. And you have to look at your mind, your heart as compassion and empathy and the desire to help people. But you have to hone in, pull it back so that the time that you're giving is an investment in the right direction. And I was just like one of those people coming from the healing industry where I was just like, yeah, sure, I'd love to help you. And I was just all in because that's what I am. If you hire me, you get an all in lady. Okay. But what I sit here today and I go, wait a minute, all these groups that I'm in, I love all these people.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
I'm giving a lot more than I'm getting. That's
Oh
okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
okay.
that's okay.
But now I want to make a clear choice of my time. And I want to see that if I'm going out and I'm getting dressed up and I'm really excited about this group, I want to know what my hopes and dreams are as I move into networking. And not that I'm not there to help someone grow their business. I love it when people just soar. I love being part of people's business development and referrals. I love that. I love it more with women. I just want to see women succeed. But I always have assumed that people would want that with me, but they don't. They don't care. But so now I have to do that for me and
Yeah,
say,
you got to start
no,
with you. Yeah,
you gotta
and you
start with
can't
me.
look for the validation within the other
You
people.
cannot. You
I tell
cannot.
people that all the time, because people really, people are their own worst critics. What I mean by that, they inflict how they feel on you. So you got to know and stand with confidence what you're here for, who you're
Yeah.
trying to serve, and what value you're going to add.
What
Because if
value and what your time is worth.
your time is
And
worth.
and I want to say, stress, be very strategic of where you're putting your time. Now, I'm not talking about your clients. We all agree. I'm sure everyone that's coming to this call will agree with me that when you have a client, you're all in and you're helping them and you're going to get to the close because that's what we're doing and we're loving our clients through it all.
Yeah.
But when it comes to business development, biz dev, right? Where we're out there networking, you have to be really strategic. Who are my power partners in this room? Who is going to be a good fit? Because honestly, the person who is a house cleaner. They don't actually see their clients to talk to you, to talk to them about you. So I am much more strategic these days than I have ever been. And partially because I just want a little more time for me. And I
I
want to
know.
make sure that my dollars in some of these groups are beginning to make sense ROI.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I agree. Darcy, we got to do this again on
Yeah.
Unbreakable Ambition because I really enjoyed this conversation. I really did. Because when people talk about health, wellness with relationships, I get all gooey because I believe that's the foundation of any entrepreneur, real estate agent, business, and growing. If you look at some of the biggest franchise like Chick-fil-A, they build relationships on adding value. And that value was, oh, we're going to say closed on Sundays due to church. So you have different organizations that start off by putting value there. And I believe even with me, this new vision with being home chaser team, but also building home chaser network to be able to share more stories like you on there. And also for us to just connect. You're in California, I'm here. Look, I would love to connect with you again. And I
Yeah,
thank you
let's
for
do
being
it.
part of
Absolutely.
Unbreakable Ambition. And San Francisco Bay is here, Darcy and
So what I'll leave you with this, and people out there listening, any agent can call either of us if you need support. We're there for you. My business is called Darcy Elman Real Estate, and my coaching program is Legacy Lifestyle Real Estate and Legacy Lifestyle Coaching. Look me up. I'm excited to be part of this journey with you, Racynta, and I definitely want to stay in touch and would love
yes,
to get on your calendar again.
I will. Thank you, Darcy. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
That's the wrap for today's episode of the Unbreakable podcast. I hope you're leaving with new insights, inspirations, and the confidence to take your real estate career to the next level. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow agent who needs to hear this. And don't forget, join the Home Chaser Network on Facebook and school for even more support, tools, and connections to help you thrive. Head to homechaser.pro to get started. Until next time, stay ambitious, stay resilient, and keep chasing for success. Coach Home Chaser.